So no luck on getting you to weigh in on whether he should remain.
Well, no. Listen, let me be very clear. Yeah. Let me be very clear. We are not into regime change, and that is not our policy.
Yeah.
Period.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I am here in downtown Athens on this Sunday morning, and I am at the Law University here. You'll hear the fountains in the background, and let's talk about some of the news topics that are going on. And oh boy. So people threw their coffee cups in the fountain. Nice, real nice. Anyway, Greece, man, Greece. Let's talk about some of the news topics. Look, there's a lot of mainstream media talking about certain atrocities in a town, in a village right outside of Kiev. I'm gonna have to probably do a locals video on that because the censors and the deplatforming and all that stuff won't really let me get into it. And not that there's much to get into because we still don't know. We still don't know what's going on there, but it seems like much of the playbook as to what happened in Serbia in the 90s, which was used as a reason to go in hard against Serbia for NATO to really attack Serbia. Much of those same reasons, that same playbook is now being shifted to what's happening in Ukraine. If you look it up on the internet, you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Terrible things that are going on, but we have to wait and see. We have to wait and see and get more information. Of course, the mainstream media doesn't work like that, and Ukraine, the Zelensky regime is saying this is a Russian thing. Maybe it's the Russian military, maybe it's not. But as with the chemical stuff in Syria and what we should have done in Serbia is we should wait and see exactly what's going on before we jump to any kind of conclusions. But I'm very nervous about these types of things when the mainstream media pushes it out, because we saw it in Serbia in the 90s, and of course with the chemical stuff we saw it in Syria. So I'm not going to get into it. Do a search, a village right outside of Kiev, and I think you'll get a feel for the story and what's going on. We'll leave it there. So let's get into some of the other news stories that we have going on. And I think the big one is the European Union coming out with statements to the effect of sanctions are not working. The sanctions are not working at all. And the European Union's answer to that is more sanctions, to double down and triple down. And they're searching for ways to push regime change in Russia and to crush the ruble. Let me actually get you this statement. Let me sit down here, right here, and get you this statement here. One sec. Let me pull it up. Because Biden says he wants regime change. He said that in a speech in Poland. Kamala Harris is saying, no, we don't want regime change. We have news that the Deputy Prime Minister Kaczynski is now saying that Poland is ready to put nuclear weapons, to deploy nuclear weapons inside of Poland. That would be just reckless and stupid. Without a doubt, reckless and stupid for Poland to put nuclear weapons there. I think if they did that, we'd be looking at an escalation like nothing before. But you had the Polish Prime Minister, Morawiecki, come out and say, and this is a quote, "I must say this very clearly. The sanctions we have imposed so far don't work. The best evidence is the ruble exchange rate. The ruble exchange rate, the litmus test, has returned to the level it was before the Russian aggression against Ukraine. What does it mean? It means that all economic, financial, budgetary, and monetary measures have not worked as some leaders wished. It needs to be said very loudly." So that is what the Polish Prime Minister said in his statements. And the EU has come out with statements, and I've actually seen this being pushed in Greek and Cypriot news here. The mainstream media in Greece has been pushing this out, saying that the EU is exploring ways to punish Russia more than the ways they have tried to punish Russia, because nothing's worked. And of course, regime change. So the EU is working on a new package. This is their announcement, a new package of sanctions, which, according to the European Commissioner of Economy, Paolo Gentiloni, according to this EU commissioner, these sanctions will be targeting the ruble and regime change in Russia, oligarchs. They'll be targeting oligarchs and regime change. So basically the plan is to find a way to prevent Russia from strengthening the ruble, and to find a way to put pressure on the oligarchs so that the oligarchs can then put pressure on the Russian government and lead to some sort of regime change. Let me read you the quote from this EU commissioner. So according to Gentiloni, we are working on additional packages of sanctions, but to clarify, they do not include the energy sector at the moment. First of all, we are trying to limit Russia's ability to circumvent these sanctions, in other words, the previous sanctions. Together with the US, we in the EU have set up a freeze and seize task force, which aims to deal with the assets of Russian oligarchs and the conversion of rubles to prevent previously introduced sanctions from being circumvented. These EU guys are they're such squirmy. I'm not going to say the word. So they want to make sure that their energy is not interrupted, because they're going to do everything they can to make sure their energy is not interrupted. So they're not going to look at additional sanctions in the energy sector, but they're going to look at ways to seize more assets of the oligarchs and to try and put pressure for regime change in Russia. And of course, figure out a way to resink the ruble, because supposedly the ruble is going to be sunk already. It was at 140, and the EU officials and Joe Biden were celebrating the fact that they've tanked the Russian economy, and now the ruble's at what? What is it now, 90? 89? What is it? I think it's gone back 79? I don't know, I didn't check, but I'll check after this video. But it's gone back to pretty much pre-conflict levels. So you see this sign here? 6th of April, there's going to be a strike against inflation, against the increasing prices. Now you see why the EU officials are trying to find a way to not touch the energy sector, but to sink Russia. Let's destroy Russia. Let's destroy the ruble. Let's get regime change, but let's not touch the energy sector. God, these guys. I mean, look, you heard it from Kaczynski in Poland wants nuclear weapons. Morawiecki is saying the sanctions aren't working. This EU commissioner is saying that the EU has created this task force, because EU task force, the EU task forces. I'm having trouble speaking again. The EU task forces. Oh boy. They always do such a good job of getting things right, don't they? So, yeah. They don't have any clue what to do they? And of course, these sanctions, these new sets of sanctions and going after oligarchs, this is not going to work. We all know it's not going to work, and we know that Russia, China, they're 10 steps ahead. You think that Russia isn't anticipating this? Of course they are. So all the EU is going to be doing is putting out more sanctions, seizing the property of oligarchs, and they're going to end up hurting the EU people more than what they've already been hurting the citizens of the EU and the US. And the US, of course. These sanctions do not work. They never will work. They've thrown out the heaviest sanctions they possibly could against the country, and they didn't work. And now they're searching for other ways, grasping at straws to find ways to complete this fetish, this obsession with destroying Russia and getting regime change in Russia. I mean, these people are literally obsessed. This is the definition of obsession. And this obsession is destroying them. It's not only destroying them, it's destroying all the countries in Europe, and it's going to destroy the United States, this obsession. This is not healthy at all, at all. I wish there was someone in power anywhere in the EU or the US to put a break to these guys. Someone to say, guys, stop, you need help. You need therapy, von der Leyen. You need therapy. Well, I was going to say you need therapy, Joe Biden, but I don't think that holds for Joe Biden. But it's so reckless. They're so lost. They're lost and they are confused. You have the, and let me get this, let me pull up this quote, this story. You have the Finnish president coming out, Sauli Niinisto, who is saying that Finland is now ready to join NATO. And let me get the quote here. He said, NATO needs to know that there is popular support. We already have that, in my view, to join NATO. This is what the Finnish president told YLE publication on Wednesday. So the Finnish president now is saying that Finland has, according to him, in recent polling, has 62% of the Finnish population in favor of joining NATO. And thus, you don't need a referendum. And all that is needed is for the government to say, we are in. I wonder how the population in Finland is going to like that. I guess if they have 62% support, they're going to be okay with that. So, yeah, one of the benefits of this conflict is NATO expansion, right? It's the fact that NATO can get to Finland and to Sweden. Eventually Sweden. If Finland goes NATO, I'm sure Sweden will also start to say, you know what? We can do it too, and without a referendum. So 62% is the latest polling numbers. Is that accurate? If there's anyone watching from Finland, are those polling numbers accurate? Is there now a desire of the Finnish population to join NATO? And if so, can they do this without a referendum? Be interesting to watch. Very interesting to watch. You know, NATO is benefiting from this in a big way. They've been exposed as a paper tiger, in my opinion, as useless and not up to fighting Russia. I don't think they're up to fighting Russia. And after they saw the weapons display that Russia put on in the west of Ukraine, taking out that mercenary training camp with those hypersonic missiles, I think NATO was freaked out. But NATO is much more than a military alliance. It's a way to capture countries. It's a way to put countries into this EU, NATO military structure, this globalist EU-NATO combine, which locks countries in, enslaves countries. All right, I'm trying to think if there's anything else that we need to discuss. Oh, Pakistan is on my mind. There is a news story about Pakistan that an army general, Qamar Javed Bajwa, has given a speech, and he is now saying that Pakistan should move towards the United States. He said that they have excellent relations with China, but he wants Pakistan to move out of their neutral phase with regards to Russia and Ukraine and this conflict and move towards the side of the United States. This is big news because from what I understand, this general is very influential. Once again, people in Pakistan, let me know if I am misspeaking, but this general is very influential, and he wants Pakistan to begin to support the United States in this conflict. In other words, get on the sanctions train, get on board the sanctions train, and side with the collective West. The video I did yesterday, I talked about Imran Khan and how I think today he's up for a no confidence vote, and his government, if it loses a no confidence vote, his government may very well collapse. And a lot of this no confidence vote is due to pressure from the United States to move Pakistan out of neutral status and into an anti-Russia and possibly anti-China status, which would be a big blow because Pakistan has excellent relations with China. So let's see how this plays out. It's a lot of moving pieces right now with regards to Russia and Ukraine, and this economic war of attrition and this fair world order versus the globalist world order. But we'll see. We'll keep on reporting the news as to what's going on. I've reached another dead end. How do I get out of here? Yeah, I'll walk around. I'll walk around again. I could jump over that, but I won't. I won't. I'll give you guys another look at the university here. So yeah, I think that's the news for the day. Check out Alexander's channel, and he's doing a lot of good deep dive analysis. And go to the Duran.locals.com as well. And I think I'm gonna sign off for today, for this Sunday. A lot of news. You can see the Greek flag behind me. I like the Greek flag. I think it's a pretty sharp flag. The blue and the white with the cross. Very sharp flag. Anyway, that's it, everybody. Take care.